All right, so I'm working on the chassis for the Rad Mobile cab. This is the chassis that came with it. So I did first a long visual inspection on this guy, and found a couple. Is just a couple. I found a lot of visibly bad parts. First, here there's a giant resistor. You can see actually there's a lot of char mark. I don't know. Also, I cleaned it because it was just filthy. So I replaced a few things. There's this resistor here. Do I still have it? Did I throw it away? I did. But looked very burned and all that. It tested okay, but this guy gets a lot of heat, so I replaced it with a higher wattage one and lifted it off the board so it doesn't burn the board anymore. Hopefully, because it seems to generate a lot of heat. I suspect it's because something else was bad and this thing was just taking too much load. The one of those coils here, you'll forgive me because it's stuff sticking to it because there's a magnet, was just broken, so I replaced that with another one that I had of similar value and pinout. This coil was okay. There was a giant resistor here that was coming here that didn't look the healthiest, and when I inspected the top, oh, where is it? Yeah, I mean the top was just broken. It wasn't a resistor anymore. It was just nothing, and as soon as I pulled it out, it just crumbled. So I ordered a new one. This is oh, I can't remember what wattage it is, or what ohm it is. It's very low, high wattage resistor. So it takes a lot of heat. It generates a lot of heat and load. And then I had some cabs that were just visibly dodgy, like just not finding any. So I just looked into my cap parts and found that I had a lot of these caps. So I went ahead and just recapped a lot of them. I've marked them in blue, the ones I've changed and tested. Tested this guy, these resistors. So this one I don't have one of the correct value. And then a few here I didn't quite have them, but I'll order a few caps, and for the other monitor as well in time. Right now I just want to see if this thing powers. Tested the diodes, they were all fine. All the fuses are fine. Big resistors here and here are okay. The hot was okay. I won't know about the flyback, but you know, it looks visibly fine. Actually, it looks almost brand new. So other than that, I did an inspection at the bottom, and oh my god, was there a lot of burn traces. There was one here that was just tricky to get to, that I repaired, that's linked to this giant resistor here. So that must generate a lot of heat. There was a broken trace here, on the flyback, so I just linked it to the next pad. A lot of chart stuff here that I'm essentially gonna when I'm putting the next resistor, I'll patch it this way. Large broken trace here, another broken trace here. Just lift it off, you know. Here some, I don't know, messing as well. Just burnt chassis really. I reflowed a lot of them. That I found a lot of dry solder on this section. This section, which is the high voltage, was fine, but it just gets the high voltage, or the mains, sorry, conversion, and then all the high voltage is really here. So that's really what gets a lot of heat and high stuff. This here was a mess. Every single one of these had lifted the traces and sort of started burning their way through the board. So I did my best just to try and patch them. I'll triple check that I don't have bridges. It's not my tedious work, but it works. See here, they're probably a bit too close. I'm just I'll be afraid something arcs, something like that. So I'll just right now I just wanted to solidify the traces, link them back. I'll go back and redo some of them. But yeah, that was every single one. All these transistors, these are the color transistors, and you adjust them here. But you got your red. Actually, you can see the color red. Red, this would be for the green, these two, and these two for the blue. So that's that. Didn't have any caps for here. So right now I'm just cleaning it up, tidying stuff, quite a bit of work. As soon as I get this resistor, I put it back in and it should be ready to go and be tested, see if it works. While I'm waiting for part for the monitor, I have taken the disassembled the chassis, sorry, the control panel, and I'm actually just patching the hole. So there's the hole here for the driving wheel assembly and whatever this guy is. Actually, I need to make a template of the diameter. Forgot to do that. Oh, I know exactly how I'm going to do that. Anyway, so, and the holes for the two buttons. The reason why I'm doing this is because in Turbo Outrun, the wheel is in a different spot. It's right here, which is going to be tricky enough as it is to re-drill here after welding here, but hopefully it'll hold. Fingers crossed. We'll see. I might need to do a better job than that. It's sort of tack welded and sanded. I didn't do the best job, if I'm being honest. Yeah, it's solid. I mean, I tapped it with a hammer and all that, but probably need to do a better filling job than that. That's not great. The button holes don't really matter that much because it's just going to be something here. So I'll fill all that with filler. But, oh yeah, and the start button is pretty much the same place, surprisingly. The other thing is there's holes here to accommodate for the control panel, but it's slightly wider than those holes here. I'm not going to bother filling those, or maybe from the back once this is applied. Yeah, maybe I will. But yes, I'm going to have to find a different way. Like, I'll probably have to re-drill new holes, or I don't know, or get brackets. Find maybe brackets that I can, or make them. Sorry, brackets here that I can extend so it matches with those holes here. That's what I might need to do, because let me think. Yeah, I think that's what I need to do. Just find brackets where I can just use this exact assembly, and then just, yeah, that's what okay, talking too much. Don't know what to do here. Maybe I'll just make sure here is one continuous weld. Here doesn't matter, we'll re-drill it. Yeah, let's redo some of that. Oh yeah, this is better. Not ideal, but this is much better. And yeah, nothing's going through here. I ended up redoing a little bit of here, but yeah, it's solid on this side. I've welded on the other side as well, and here doesn't matter too much for now, because we're gonna recut somewhere here at some point. So I'll apply, well, I'm going to strip this first. I'll apply all my, I'll re-drill what needs to be drilled, and we'll respray all this, repaint all this, and then apply our artwork. Oh yeah, and I need to find a solution for the control, the lever here. So we'll do that next. All right, an update on the control panel here. So I have my center hole just drill. You know, it's not perfect because I don't actually have the tool for this, so I to drill many holes and just use a grinder just to make it sort of round. It's okay though, it'll be covered by the art, well, most of it by the art, and then we'll have a ring thing. Same thing here for the gear shift. It's yeah, kind of mad I did this, but what can you do? It's done. But at least the all the soldering, the welding, sorry, worked. So that's good, and it's holding. Everything is holding. You can see the. Can you see it? Yes, roughly. Actually, the camera helps. So you can see where I patched here, and so the artwork is aligned. I've drilled all the holes where they need to go. I've kept the original ones here. I'm not sure what I'll use it for, but I've kept them nonetheless. And drill holes here for the gear shift. Gear shift was an interesting one to take apart. It's actually not here. Actually, it's in my room. You take it apart, but you still have the assembly just going through this. And there's a trick to actually getting the stick itself off that, because there's this thing here is preventing it from passing through, and the handle on the other side. There's actually a button that you need to lift, and it's kind of hard. You just need to use a razor blade just to lift it and pop it, and then you can feed the wire back out. I'll show you later. But yeah, so I'm gonna leave this dry overnight. This is my primer coat, and then we'll do a couple of black coats in the next few days, and then a final clear coat just to seal everything. But yes, slowly taking shape, and it went a lot easier. Hey dude, it went a lot easier than I thought. So that's good news. I was really dreading this. I was like, is this gonna warp? Is this, is the heat gonna be too much for this? Is it even gonna stick? Because I'm not exactly a welder or a metal worker, really. So here's not too bad. It's just these corners here. This was a little bit of the Bondo thing that chipped, and here I got over eager with the angle grinder. That's okay though. Again, the idea is that this piece here, which I'll have to order a new art for it, but this piece comes over on top like that, so we won't see anything. There's only this showing, and then the bracket itself goes underneath, and then you bolt everything in place. So it'll be nice and solid. Anyway, let's leave this to dry. I'm gonna clean this wheel assembly, which is filthy, and call it a day. Actually, folks, while I'm at it, I decided to start looking into a Raspberry Pi option. So I've already some setup done on this. I'll probably document this in a separate video, but I got Outrun working on a Raspberry Pi 3. Well, it doesn't take much, but the best option I found was to use advanced MAME, and then I can use those pots with it. Setting up the pots was a lot trickier than I thought. It's actually an easy solution at the end, but finding documentation was an issue. There's not much. Most people that use pot actually use them as sort of a switch. So as soon as you reach a certain threshold, MAME will start incrementing or decrementing the counters for the analog paddle settings. And the problem with that is just it will increase or decrease it until it reaches a min or max value. So there's no control. Like if I set it to this, I can't set it to halfway position. It's either off and then fully on as you start moving in, and it increments at a certain rate, and you can set that rate, which is fine, but it means you can't actually just do half turns, or fine control the car, or do kind of sharp turns like you would normally with a wheel. So there's a setting for that. I found it, so I'll document all that, and maybe in a separate video on how to fully convert a Pi with an APAC, which is an analog to a digital converter, to use these guys. The other trick will be to use the gear shift, because those versions of MAME in Retropie only recognize kind of switches like that, and in MAME, I think the high and low gear is implemented by, you go into one gear, you go back into the other, but it's the same button. Here it's not the case. It reads if one of the input is low, and then as soon as you shift gear, that button keeps being pressed. So MAME would think that you're pressing that button really fast and kind of keep changing the value. So it's not a state value, it's a switch value. So there's a way to implement that. I'm gonna have to look into that as well, and after that I'll implement the pedal, which are actually wired in pairs, so it's going to be interesting as well. So there's a bit of messing, bit of fiddling, but once we get all that done, then we can use something like this guy, which is the RGB Pi. There's another option where you can wire stuff directly. So I'm going to use that to connect this to a proper CRT monitor. And hopefully we'll have a version of MAME that runs on Raspberry Pi that is independent of those expensive boards that kind of fail often. All right, so it's time to put the steering assembly back together. However, you can see these are the original holes. There would be one here and one somewhere here or somewhere here. So it doesn't quite align. So these are the new holes, and it's not going to cut it. Initially, I actually thought of putting small brackets that would reach like maybe a little square, but it's not going to be really solid enough. So I've just cut out this thing here that's going to sit on it like that to press it in place. So we're not losing any height from the other side, but I might need to put like washers underneath, so it's going to be spot welded in place here to this unit, and then bolted from the other side, and that should be plenty solid. Fingers crossed. So anyway, yeah, spot welding, it's not going to take a lot, and it's just going to ensure that the thing doesn't move, really. I don't want that to rattle. It's going to stay in place, and we can, the pressure then will have it solid against this guy anyway. Well, that's the idea, at least. Right, skipped a few video steps, but essentially this is it. I've spot welded. You can actually see the spot weld on the other side here. This plate to here, I have a washer under here just to match the depth of this guy here, so it doesn't warp too much. And the idea doing a bracket like that was just so everything is more solid. There's no individual little bar that could actually break or snap. Here it's all one piece, so hopefully it'll hold. And even if a weld doesn't hold, this is essentially clamped under between this and this. And the idea of welding it is just so that it doesn't move on its own here like that. And I have the art here starting to come back on the other side. And this is as you know, I didn't have to re-drill anything. Now everything is matching up, and it's nice and tidy. This is the artwork that people thought was scratched or dodgy, and it just isn't. It's perfect. So I have another piece of new old stock dashboard, always handy to have spares. And now I'm just waiting for the art for the shifter. So the switch was actually gone on this, so I had to remove it. Well, disassemble it completely. There's the wire actually goes through the shaft and through this hole here, so you can't take the shaft unless you remove the button, and to remove the button can be tricky. The way I managed is I used a small, very, very small, well, sharp, not small, but sharp a knife, and, well, in this case, a razor blade, and just wedged it all around under here, and then slowly lifted it, and that's the only way I was able to remove it. And then you can feed the wire back out and back in. Back in is tricky. You just have to take your time, get it. I haven't done it yet, but get it to a line here, and then get tweezers and just pull it out like that. So it's a bit finicky, but it's not unmanageable. And I'm waiting for the art to arrive. So I've ordered new art from Arcade Art Shop, and there's a new piece for this guy. So this is rusted. I don't want to put that back with the shiny artwork here. So we're going to wait for the new one to install that. So I'm going to sand this and just paint it back. Do I need to? Yeah, I just need to remove the rust. And I have artwork for the sides, the marquee, bezel, and what else? I think that's it, and just bits. But yeah, and I think, oh yeah, I have a sign for the wheel as well. So I put the wheel back here. Hopefully it'll fit. If not, I'll try and make it fit as best as I can. Maybe just put a little bit of glue here, and have a nice Outrun wheel cap thing. It's not an Outrun wheel here. I'm okay with that. That's the wheel I have, and it's absolutely fine. But you know, people who know Outrun will notice that the wheel isn't an Outrun wheel. It doesn't matter too much. This is a sort of a hybrid cab of sorts. You know, I've kept the red here instead of a black. And the next question is what to do with this marquee or this bezel, because I don't have a Thunderblade. Is it Thunderblade? Yeah, it is Thunderblade. I have a marquee coming for this cab, but yeah, maybe a display or something like that. I don't know, we'll see. Right, quick update on this chassis. It's been quite a journey of just replacing parts and bits. So I couldn't find the proper resistor for this. So, well, I did find the right value, but I couldn't find the right type that slots in. But I think this will do. I just have insulation tape here just to prevent anything touching, but it should be okay. There was a problem with this guy, TH2, which is a common failure on these chassis, and I found a replacement one from one of these chassis. I have a ton of these, and yeah, whatever. This is a 10-inch chassis. I've already scavenged it for parts, so you know, I don't feel too bad scavenging stuff on this. Change a few caps, whatever I had on hand. You can see I've put blue dots wherever I change them so I can identify them. I've resoldered this guy that was just disconnected. Checked all the horizontal transformer, sorry, transistor and the driver. They checked fine. Yeah. Anyway, so this guy, what happens is very often these disconnect or burn out. There's a very thin wire that can actually burn out. So that happened in this case, and I fixed that. There was a ton of cold solder joint on the neck board, and so I fixed it as much as I could. You can see here it's you know, it looks the way it does, but it seems to be working. There was a burnt resistor here, so I didn't have the right value. It's R140, and it should be 560 ohms, but I just used two resistors of higher wattage as well, just in case. Oh yeah, it's back on. Oh man, this is actually so cool to see it compared to what this was only a week ago. I'm pretty happy. Anyway, it's not all done, but it's getting there. Ah, this is dead cool. Let's keep going. Oh man, this took a minute and a half to set up properly. I had to try so many different versions of Retropie and versions of MAME. I'm using Advanced MAME 1.4, and it seemed to be the one that actually works. No, very old version of MAME, but it's the one that actually the controls work. Anyway, Raspberry Pi 3, not 4, 3, running Advanced MAME 1.4, and I can go to the service, no problem. I can use the pot here just to navigate as you would with the wheel. It's fully, come on, it's fully analog. The problem is if you set it up in a certain way, the pot acts as a switch as soon as it reaches a certain value, and then that value just increases to its maximum. Right now I can set it to whatever I want, and it's just staying there. Same with the pedal. That's a pedal I picked up from that raid, and same with the brake. I'm using a 10k pot, so the value is a bit harder to set, but you know, whatever value I set it at, it stays there. Coin, and these are just button. So I'm using an APAC, which is an analog to digital converter. So it converts whatever input you give it to essentially a joypad. It just reads it as a joypad, or an analog joypad like this, and this does the same thing here. So I can actually have it, yeah, to a middle value. It's a bit harder to do on the controller here. There you go. Yeah, working. And with sound, I haven't got it plugged in, but it works as well. So right now I'm using this board, which is a JAMA, so I can actually just tap the RGB just from that straight into a CRT monitor. It's cool, little 10-inch monitor running Outrun. Actually, let's see if I can run this. Well, I know it runs. I just tested it, but it just looks really cool on a 10-inch monitor. Come on. There you go. Exit. And I can credit. Can set my tune. Whatever I want. It doesn't matter here because we're not. And play button. There's my pedal. And you can see the accelerator is working. So it's going to be tricky to do it with one hand, but let's just try this. And there you go. Right, update on the chassis. So I put it in the cab, and I got some high voltage. I got some white screen with some retrace lines, so that means the high voltage is working. Means our power, at least high voltage power, is all working. But there was a problem. There was no colors on screen, no image really, or anything like that. So usually I would suspect the remote board, the neck board first. And indeed, when I looked back in the cab, I could see some smoke coming out. You can see those resistors here are burnt, and these were crazy hot. So I took the board out and just tested those transistors here, and these actually drive the colors. They're in pairs of two, and you can see there's a wire here for blue, for green, and for red. And essentially, all of them but these two. And there was more, I don't know where the other one is. All of them, but these two tested dead, were just gone. You know, the specs were completely out, and a couple of were shorted. So I decided to replace them all. And these actually that were working were like one was here and the other one was here or something like that. So essentially we weren't getting any colors driven to the neck, and then the resistors started just smoking, probably as a consequence. I'm not exactly sure. I haven't looked at the schematics where these lie in the in the schematics, but anyway, these are 580 ohms, I think. And do you know, when I test them again like that, they test fine. They test, you know, they come up as 580. So I think they just overheated for a small period. But you can see this one is the leg is broken. Anyway, I'm not going to put them back because at least I can rule them out as being a source of problem if it still doesn't work. So I'm waiting for some new ones. The other possibility would be we're missing -5, which I can test. I'll test that afterwards. I was getting the right voltage on the hot, so that wasn't an issue. So we'll test that once we get all the parts back. We'll test that. I've also ordered just a vertical and a horizontal IC. Just in case, because I didn't have any spares, so it'll be handy to have anyway, and in case that was the problem. But I tested a few parts after that. All my caps test okay. Actually, I'm looking at this guy, is a little bit bulgy, isn't it? Yeah, might be worth replacing that guy. I'm not sure I have one. I mean, it's not visibly bulgy. Maybe not. Maybe it's fine. It just looks like it wants to pop. I think it probably needs to be replaced at some point. I think it'd be fine for the sake of testing, but we'll need to do a cap kit anyway on this guy, or finish the cap kit. Anyway, so waiting for the resistors to arrive. Did I say transistors? Resistors to arrive, and then we'll test those. As you can see, I mean, some of them were just, the legs were gone. They just weren't even connected properly, and the legs were still there. So I've redone the traces here as well, as best as I could. Double, triple tested everything. Make sure there's no bridges, but you can see there's a lot of just broken traces, and just had to fix however best I could. It's not the best job, but it'll work. You can see here and here and all here. Nice. I received the artwork for the Turbo Outrun from I. I'm just flattening the side vinyl here. Some of it is already in the shed. You sent me 2 of these. Thank you very much. I only need one, but I might need another one very soon. So that's actually dead handy. The topper, so it's like the one he did for Crazy Taxi. It's a rather hard and solid plexi, but I'll have to find mounting brackets for that. That's no big deal. And I forgot, I'm not sure if I ordered this. I wanted to, and then I don't remember that I did, but this is really cool. Yeah, if I didn't, and he sent me one, and if I ordered it, it's really cool as well. It's actually see-through, so it's just an oversized panel that would normally be found, I think, beside the sit-down version of Turbo Outrun, and it's printed on plexiglass, so it's see-through, and it should make a really cool light box actually. So I'll work on that. I just thought these were cool. I remember wanting to order one of those, and I'm not sure if I did, but I must have, obviously, unless that's an extra gift from Ollie. If it is, thank you very much. And the side art, which looks beautiful, beautiful work. Once again, he always does, and it's worth waiting for. Thank you very much. And I have the marquee, which is in the shed already, and I couldn't resist. I had to put the bezel on the cab already, so we'll go to the shed and have a look now. All right, so with the artwork here, I was finally able to put the gear shifter back in place, because the other plate, the metal plate, and the artwork is going over that on the other side, and so the control panel is essentially done. Pretty happy, sturdy. I mean, you know, it looks a bit funky here on this side, although it looks all right, to be honest, if I'm fully honest. But here, there you go. Hold on. Let me put this screw back in. So yeah, this is here. So this is actually on top of another plate, and this this is sandwiched between those 2 plates and pressure fit. And I'm not entirely sure where the button is supposed to go. I'm guessing it's on this side. Could be wrong. We'll see. And thing I can do is, it makes sense on this side because you're driving and you just want to press. It'd be weird if it was here. You know, you'd have to press with your pinky. You want to press with your thumb, and this is sort of a right-handed cab, I suppose. But yeah, so this was a bit of work. It's slightly off-centered, just to realign the control panel. I'm actually delighted with the work here I did. I'm not great on metal work or much of anything really, but and this work. So the artwork, so this was new old stock. This is repro. I got this as well off Arcade Art Shop, and it doesn't quite fit. I just had to make it fit, but it's tight, snugly in there, and I think it looks cool here. I'm not sure exactly. I think this was supposed to be on Turbo Outruns. I'm not sure exactly. But it looks right here, if you know what I mean. So between the red matte floor that was black but was supposed to be red, and I kept it red. The new artwork, you can see the bezel is in place. We've got the side art here, and the marquee and the topper. And oh my god, is this cab looking fabulous. Yeah. Right, we're back on the bench. So I put this in after putting all new transistors and new resistors, checked everything on the neck board. At least that was in the color path, and it checks fine. This bulging cap, I'm not sure. I'm going to replace that. It does look like it's bulging. It's not the healthiest. Anyway, it needs a recap at some point. But when I checked, I looked at the voltages, so I was able to get the 12 volt. So long story short, we get voltages to the neck board here, and we got a 12 volt line and a -5, and it goes to here for the 12 volt, and the black one here is the -5. And I was getting a 12 volt, but not a -5 while this was powered. So the -5 is actually handled by this 7905 regulator, and I suspect this is dead. I don't have a spare one, so, and the only way really, I don't think there's a way to test these other than, you know, building a circuit for them. So I'm gonna order a new one. I don't have one on hand, but I'm gonna order a new one and just see if that fixes our problem. We're not getting -5 anyway to the neck board. So first thing to suspect is the -5 regulator, right? I think this is actually going straight from the middle here. Let me see, is there schematics here for this guy? Yeah. Where is this? -5. So our -5 line would be so we got -5 here. So going up over to, yeah, this leg here. So yeah, it's coming directly from the regulator. There's nothing else in the path. So if a new one doesn't fix that, then we've got a problem coming from the voltage that's coming to the regulator. I assume it's also feeding. Is it feeding something else? Probably is anyway. So yeah, that -5 is used for something else anyway. So let's just actually have I got -5 here? There you go on the schematics. Got a 7905 here, and that -5 is going what's the path is it taken? Oh, so it's going through a diode, and no, there you go, this is the direct path it's taking. So SP7, and that's going straight into the neck board. So if we've got no -5 coming out of here, I suspect this guy first. If it's not this guy, then we'll have to worry about this path. Hopefully, fingers crossed, that's not it. And has this thing sent me for a loop a few times. So I plugged it back in, and I was still getting the white. I changed the 7905, still getting the white screen. So I thought, okay, well, the board is not getting its whatever supply to the 7905. And that pulse is coming from that little IC over there, which is the horizontal circuit generator thing. And so I changed that, and lo and behold, I do run. The screen takes a minute too, but there you go. We got a picture. I just need to sort the all the picture colors, and you know, it might need a recap, but there you go, we got a screen. I'm just gonna tidy this and get back to you in a second. There you go. I just adjusted the screen as best as I could, you know, while this is running, just so that I know that it's running. I'm gonna let this run for a while, but there you go. This is the original monitor that came with this cab, now all working and fixed, and as you could see, it was in pretty dire condition. I'm so glad I got this working. It looks nice and clean and tidy, and since I've changed quite a bit of stuff, it's stable now, and it's I've recapped a good few of the caps. I'm gonna leave this here, this one here. I might need to change that cap on the neck board, but I'm gonna leave this one here in this cab, knowing that it's the one that came with the cab, and I'll have the spare one that I know is working on hand, just in case. Man, was this a restore and a half. We still need to sort out the board that's going to run in this game. That's looking promising. I think I got everything working. The only thing you can't do with this setup that I have is the shaker, but there's no shaker in there, so I might do a separate video for it, I think, or maybe not. Maybe I need to put this in this one as well. I'll see. I went back to the drawing board and used a straight Retropie image, and I managed to get the RGB thing working on it. It just needs a few settings in the config file, so I'll put those in the description. But essentially, I'll do a separate video on setting this up from scratch at some point for people who want to do that. But right now I'm just running a power drift on this. It's running fine. The Pi needs a little more than 5 volt really to run stable after doing some research. I've seen people say 5.3, 5.2 seems to be the sweet spot really, for me at least. You can see it's rather a resource-hungry game running on Advanced MAME 1.4 on a Pi 3, and it's running just fine. And I've got... right now I'm using keyboard shortcuts, but I'll have a menu where it'll auto boot to either Power Drift or Turbo Outrun, but let's just launch Turbo Outrun. And I'll also configure the buttons to act as controllers for the image, but it won't be really an issue because it'll auto boot straight to the running the game. But there's Turbo Outrun running. I can credit. I don't have the sound output here because my headphones is somewhere else. Let's start, but I'm not going to playing with one hand. It's going to be tricky. So the shifter works as I explained before. It's just the two buttons are actually set to the same. The two poles on the switch are set to the same input, so it just triggers every time because MAME doesn't support these type of shifters. So I just have an extra switch in on the middle tab or on the ground just to disconnect, so it's connected all the time. If I need to reset this, I press that button and reset the shifter to what it needs to be in between plays, just in case somebody touches this. But while playing, it shouldn't be an issue. You can see the pedal acceleration is working, analog of course, and the well, I can't really do this. Let's go into the service menu. Come on. This is gonna make a very lengthy video altogether, but I'm just gonna try and speed up. But you can see I can actually just set the pot to whatever value like you would a wheel. Same thing with the pedal, and the brakes is the same. I use a 10 pot brake here in this case, so it's a bit harder. It was just for testing. All the controls are working, coin, start, and the service, and of course the shifter. So when you set the shifter to one position, you know, it'll shift as it should. I don't have the nitro button connected here, but it's I set it up so it works whenever I connect it. So because this is a JAMA output, I just need to make a connector now. I'm just going to make a JAMA connector that connects into the existing wiring now for the cab. I'm going to tidy this on an actual board, so the Pi 3 and the APAC are really what is the meat of this, and then we'll be ready to put this in the cab. It doesn't support the shakers or any output. That's not what the APAC does, but this cab I have, the Turbo Mini cab, doesn't have any outputs. You know, there's no shaker or anything like that, so it works perfect for this setup. If you want to enable the shaker, you probably need something from Multimark, I think, to do something with outputs as well, so that's probably for another video. But for now, that will solve my purpose, and I'll do a separate video on how to set this up properly. Let's go back to our cab. Did I mention that these 10-inch monitors are just dead cute? How cool is that? Anyway, of course the heater comes on as I start recording. Anyway, that's the Raspberry Pi mess. I'll have to tidy all that, obviously, but the controls are connected. I can't use or test the controls. I know they work, but I can't test them because I didn't set this on free play, and right now I can't credit because I don't have a coin thing, but I'll have to put a button just to credit. But there you go, and it's actually, I mean, it's lovely and sharp. Actually, there's a nice picture out of that JAMA RGB Pi adapter, and it boots straight into Outrun, so or Turbo Outrun. So now we have a lovely dedicated cab. The only thing is this normally flashes to tell you to insert to start, and right now I can't have it flash. What I'll do is I'll get the light and have it just get 5 volt all the time. That way it'll just keep flashing and be done with that. But yeah, there you go. Pretty happy. Alright folks, so this is the end of this project for now. I know this is a little bit abrupt, but the weather has taken a turn. It's got really cold, and so I've taken all the boards out of here while we the weather passes and gets a bit warmer. I think this is going to be the last bit I work on for the rest of the season until things get a little bit warmer. And I will have more videos coming, I think. But there you go. So this is actually all working. I've just taken all the boards out of there. Control, sound, everything. And I'm running a turbo Outrun in this cab. I don't have the room in my arcade at the moment, so I'm going to leave this here and shift some stuff out of there. I think the Kung Fu Master can probably come out. It's actually going to go to my brother. And I think I have another cab that can probably come out of there and go somewhere else. Anyway, thank you for watching. I hope this was an interesting video. It was a bit longer than usual, this one, but I just wanted to finish the project and finish the video all in one go. What I'll do, as with all these videos, I'll probably make a longer version of it with all the parts for next month, and release those. I have about 3 of those coming as well on the channel, just long version, like all the parts, so there'll be a couple of hours each, so you can, you know, grab a morning coffee and just chill on a Sunday morning. Anyway folks, thank you for watching. So glad with this cab, so happy to have a turbo Outrun running, and I have a few spare parts as well. I've an idea for a future project, and I have well, I actually have another project coming as well soon. So folks, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.